All right, Shalom. Kahalo Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakradash. Shalom, salutations, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, where I continue to learn this 100% truth from. Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham. The water for your sacrifices and your lessons. Shalom also to the elder bishops and the elders, the prophets, the teachers and evangelists also of Great Millstone. I continue to learn this 100% truth from. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Barakatham. The water for your sacrifices and your lessons. And last but not least, Shalom to the speckled bird, the confused face, the Akim and Akwathium, the Akim on the highways and byways doing his work. And last but not least, the elect. Labakarium. Today, I wasn't sure what I wanted to speak about or do, so I just started looking for scriptures, but also I get inspiration from the elder apostles on down of Great Millstone, and also other brothers with the Aelite doctrine, 100% true. You know what I mean? You brothers are inspirational as well. It depends on how the spirit hits me and where I go with it. So I had what was he at? What was it? Philippians? Yeah, here we go. 2 and 12. And I was going to build up of that. So this is Philippians 2 and 12, and it reads, "Wherefore, my beloved," which is Dawad, David, "as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." Okay? So with that, I decided to try to build around that. So let's get some scriptures. Let's go to Psalms 2 and 11. And it reads, "Serve Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai with and Salakia. Serve Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai with fear and rejoice with trembling." Now, that may throw you off about how that sounds, but if you're going through things and you're in this truth and you're doing the work, you ought to serve Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai with fear and rejoice with trembling. Now, because it doesn't feel good, and these are some of the things that I've been dealing with, you know what I mean? That I my testimony is speaking on it, things are just happening the way they are, and you know, it could be uncomfortable or doesn't feel good, or you may think that it's just a bad day, and granted, it will be at times, and this is why you need to pray. Praying is begging. You need to pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. For what? You need to pray for him to have mercy on you, and you need to pray to him that he may lighten your burden just a little, because you're going to have to go through things if you're going to be in this truth. It ain't going to be all hunky-dory. But you're going to pray to the Lord that, he kind of give you the spirit. That's what I pray for. I always, try to pray to Yahweh Shai to give me the spirit to fight or to deal with the things that comes. Because it's going to be more. You know what I'm saying? It has to be a balance. It can't be all good. And then, you don't accept the bad. That's why you have to rejoice, just because you rejoice when it's all good. You love it when it's all good. So, you have to take the same when things are going against you. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs 1 and 7. The fear of Yahweh is the foundation of true knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Exactly. discipline is something that's very important, because discipline is what? It's making you better for what is to come. So, and I understand, I had a situation at the south at the plantation. I was gonna say salvation. I had a situation at the plantation that I was dealing with, and it made me, once I realized what was going on, it made me stronger and understand that I cannot go that way, or perceive to be a certain way anymore, how I was. And it gave me a little bit of what you would say emotional intelligence. So I'm very grateful for that. So now I know how to deal with anyone throughout the rest of the time I may have here, um, without having to be um, emotional. You know what I mean? It doesn't call for that. And you learn more and understand more. You have better wisdom, and you can think more when you're logical and you're not emotional. And that's what I learned. And just made me a better person. And this is something that happened, you would say, in months. This is a month's training that I've been through to understand now what and who I am, about how to deal with certain things that I may continue on with the rest of my life. And you got to understand that when you show respect and you show obedience to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, then He allows you to grow. Okay? And that's what's wrong with a lot of our people, man. People forget. Well, most brothers forget why they're here. And I say brothers because I mean it in a sincere way, because I'm only talking about the hopeful elect. Because we got so-called brothers that they just not right. They wicked as hell. Even Esau, he is our brother, and he's the destruction of the world. He's the destruction of his own world. Okay, and his time is coming up. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, and it reads, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man." So you see, what men have is to be kings and priests. And to be a good king and a priest, you must first understand the true wisdom of good and evil. Okay? To what? Make better judgments, proper judgments. So, you can't be a good king and a priest if you just are one-sided about whatever that happens, and you don't judge properly. Okay? You what? Get emotional. That's not going to help you. And that's not the makings of a good king or a priest. Let's get. I'm going to read it out. I don't want to go and stay in the blue letter. Sirach 2 and 1. And it reads, "My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation." So you're going to have to go through things. Nothing's going to be simple and nothing's going to be easy. You're going to have to deal with things. And that's just the way Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai set it up. And in acknowledging that and moving forward, you put yourself in it's not going to be always a comfortable situation, but you put yourself in a better situation than what you were in before. Okay? Especially if you're learning the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and you're learning the laws, statutes, and commandments, and you're also practicing them. Don't be just a listener, but also a doer, roughly paraphrasing of the laws. Matthew 24:13. "But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." And that's what we are doing. We are enduring this affliction We are enduring this temptation. We are enduring all the hard things that come along with all the beautiful things that are to come. Because trust me, going through what we're going through and dealing with what we're dealing with, the reward is far way beyond than you can imagine. You know what I mean? It's far way beyond more than you could imagine. So you got to continue to hang in there. Continue to keep pushing hard. And that's why the brothers are on here daily, night and day. Why? It's to continue to keep giving you the motivation to keep pushing. Because times get hard. Situations get harder. And you got to deal with these things head on. And that's what a real king and a priest will do. They deal with the situation at hand, big or small. Okay? Big or small. They deal with everything they have to do. And that's what a real king and a priest does. 1 Peter 1:17. It reads, if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sorrowing here in fear. So you got to be careful about what you're doing. You have to be sincere and truthful about what you're trying to do when you're praising the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And you have to go about it in truth, in your heart and your mind. Your heart is your mind, symbolically. Okay? You have to be totally sincere about this, man. The Lord see through all that nonsense, man. And I understand that you're going to get some hard days, but this don't stop. You continue to do this, regardless of the fact. Whatever you're dealing with, make it a lesson. And be sincere about it. Okay? Here's that scripture right here. Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. That's right. Especially if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. No. Especially if you know what you're supposed to do and you're not doing it. I did something that was wicked, right? I'm being honest with you. And I knew, but I didn't know. Like, I didn't know the severe punishment of it, thinking that it was okay, no big deal type of thing, right? Not saying that I'm a wicked person, but the deed is considered wicked, especially if you know. And I did, and I kind of treated it like it was a small, no big deal. And I suffered for it. And I realized then that I was wrong. So what did I do? Pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, ask him for forgiveness. Because when you sin, a sin is a wicked deed in so many ways, right? Whether you know or don't know. So you're praying to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to what? Have mercy on you. Because you're in this flesh and blood. And a lot of times you're going to do things, or a lot of times people do things to please the flesh. Because this flesh and blood is it goes off, man. It's that's why the scriptures tell you that flesh and blood will not inherit the kingdom. It can't. It's wicked as hell. It's wicked as hell. But it's your job to fight. That's what you gotta fight for, man. You gotta fight for what's right and not what's wrong. You in the when you wake up in the morning, you are in a battle as soon as you wake up with your flesh and your spirit. So this is why you pray for Yahweh. Pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai before you go to sleep. But you pray to him when you wake up, before you do anything, that he guides you in the right way and he minds over you with his angels. All right? Because you're not guaranteed wake up that next day, okay? Because if the Lord calls for you, you got to go. Romans 11:20 in the NLT. Yes, remember, those branches were broken off because they didn't believe in Hamashiach. And you are there because you do believe. So don't think highly of yourself, but fear what could happen. Ooh. Exactly. When you learn to fear the Lord in every aspect of how you live your life, avoid that pride and remain humble. And that's what I learned about the situation that I was talking about at my plantation. I learned to humble myself. Okay? Because sometimes you can be humble, but when situations come at you, sometimes you're not humble. Right? So you got to learn how to have control about how you carry yourself. Yeah, man. Um, let's see. James, Yahushua brother, 2:17. Uh-oh. Salakia. James 2:17, and it reads, even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and have works. Show me thy faith without works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. So if you're not doing this and you're not being diligent in doing this, you can say, I love the Lord and the Lord loves me. You can glamorize and glamorify the word and everything else. But if you're not doing the work, you're not truly a man of the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? And that goes for practicing the Lord's statutes and commandments as well. You should be practicing the Lord's statutes and commandments and doing it to the best of your ability. Things are not easy, but it gets better as you train yourself to be a man of the Lord. And your walk is a little bit more simpler. You're still going to have to go through things, but your walk is a little bit more simpler because you understand now and you know that you are held accountable for your works. Okay? If you know better, you do better, right? Last scripture I got right here. 2 Peter 2:10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed they are not, afraid to speak evil of dignities. I probably said that wrong. I'm going to read it in the NLT. I probably said that. He is especially hard on those who follow their own twisted sexual desire. Woo! And who despise authority. These people are proud and arrogant, daring even to scoff at supernatural beings without so much as trembling. That's heavy right there. That's a heavy scripture right there, man. So I pray that you were edified with the lesson, and I hope that this reached somebody that you can work on yourself with some of these scriptures that I brought out that make you a better person and prepare you for Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom.